I recognize the Majority Whip.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that the quorum call be vitiated.
Without objection.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I come to the floor having just heard the minority leader, and he talked about the State of the Union address last night. I heard the same speech that he did. I thought it was outstanding. Apparently, the difference is that I was actually listening. The American people agree with me in terms of what they saw and heard and witnessed last night with Donald Trump's State of the Union. What Americans saw last night was quite simple. Republicans stood with them. Democrats didn't. They didn't stand for much. Republicans cheered for lower taxes, for safe communities, and for safer elections, secure elections, elections people had faith in. Senator Schumer said he thought that the speech was delusional. American people didn't think that. Immediately after the State of the Union, CNN conducted a poll. Here's what they found. 62% of the viewers said that President Trump's economic and immigration policies would move the country in the right direction. That's what we've been trying to do for the last year, get the country back on track. Those are the common sense policies for which the Democrats refused to stand. The President said to the whole body, he said, if you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. He then read the statement. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens. Every Republican stood up, not the Democrats. They sat silently. This is the first responsibility of a government of a nation, to protect its citizens. Why in the world would Democrats refuse to stand for such a statement, such a basic understanding of what the role of government is in our lives, what our founding fathers fought for? Revolutionary War. Here we are 250 years into the United States, and the Democrats in the Senate and the House and the chamber last night don't believe that that's the responsibility of government, the number one first duty, to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens? That is delusional on the part of the Democrats. It's astonishing. I'm happy to see CNN report that so many Americans agreed that we're getting the country back on track, doing what we should do, what we were elected to do, to provide safety and prosperity for the American people. What are the Democrats staying for? Raising taxes. They sit on their hands when it comes to protecting American citizens. Their priorities are wrong. We're in a shutdown right now for the Department of Homeland Security. Why? Because they want to stand with illegal immigrant criminals instead of the safety and security of the American people. And to me, Mr. President, that was the most telling moment of the evening. And the American people will not forget that. They will not forget that visual. They will not forget seeing the President of the United States make his statement, and the Republicans jump up and cheer, and the Democrats sit in silence. Mr. President, last night we heard about the great American comeback. The President's remark proved two things. Our country is strong, and our fellow citizens, boy, they are courageous. And we have heard great stories of courage last night. More than a dozen heroes were honored, rightfully so. Heroes like 100-year-old Navy pilot, retired Captain Royce Williams, and helicopter pilot, Chief Warrant Officer Eric Slover, both of whom received the Congressional Medal of Honor. Well earned, well done, well deserved. Heroes like Pennsylvania mom Megan Hemhauser, who homeschools her 2 children and works in the evenings as a waitress. Heroes like Coast Guard rescue swimmer Scott Ruskin, who rescued many young girls from the deadly Texas flood. Now, these American heroes remind me of 2 sailors that I met this past weekend. I was on a Navy destroyer within the firing distance of Iran. These sailors from Wyoming were 9 time zones away from home in Wyoming. One that I talked to is from Gillette, Wyoming. He went to Sheridan High School, was from Gillette. His father works at a coal mine in Gillette. Another from Wheatland, Wyoming. His father works at the power plant. Both of them said that President Trump and Republicans had saved their father's jobs, and they asked me to portray that, give that thanks to the President, and I did that last night as a member of the Escort Committee when I met with the President before he entered the chamber to deliver the State of the Union. He knows that what he's doing is making a difference for the men and women, the working men and women of our country, for the jobs in our communities, for good-paying jobs, and for American energy. That's what we're doing for America. The success that the President outlined last night is just the beginning. It's being felt by working families everywhere around the country. People are going to continue to feel that success because of our Republican comprehensive economic plan. Being from Wyoming, of course, my focus is small businesses that make our state thrive. Wyoming is proud to be a small business state. 99% of our businesses are small businesses. 2 out of 3 jobs in our state are all from small businesses. And what we're talking about is farmers, ranchers, construction workers, energy workers, so many more. People who feed our country, people who power our homes, people who make our communities better. During the previous administration, small businesses struggled. They choked on a witch's brew of higher taxes and burdensome regulations. Punishing good people for honest work did not make life in America more affordable. It made it more challenging. It led to higher costs. It led to smaller paychecks. It led to fewer jobs. That's what Biden administration and the Democrats did. But now, because of our working family tax cuts law, taxes on small businesses are going down, and they're going to stay down. The working family tax cut law is already helping create jobs. This year, in every state, new Main Street jobs are going to be created. Small businesses receive a permanent tax cut. In my home state of Wyoming, 50,000 small businesses will benefit from them. The working family tax cuts law encourages investing here at home. Small businesses can now write off 100% of their costs for new equipment. It's called full expensing. It matters to the small businesses in Main Street all along this great nation. Full expensing simply means that small businesses will be able to build more and grow faster. They can invest in their business and their workers. Faster growth means lower costs for families. It means more jobs. It means bigger paychecks. That's what the American people want. The Working Family Tax Cuts law supports farmers and ranchers. They receive major relief from the dreaded death tax. And this relief is permanent. Death tax relief has significant consequences for rural livelihoods and for feeding our country. Now families across Wyoming and your home state of Montana, Mr. President, will not have to worry about whether they can keep the farm or the ranch when grandma or grandpa passes away. They want to keep it in the family. In the past, they had to sell it to pay the tax man. That's wrong. All these changes mean immediate savings for small business owners, for their employers, as well as for their customers. This year, small business owners will receive about $27 billion in additional tax refunds. That's money in their pockets. And because these provisions are permanent, small businesses can hire, invest, and grow with confidence now and in the future. The only people who don't want this success to continue are the Democrats. People in mainstream Wyoming and, thinking of a small community in Wyoming of Newcastle, Wyoming. Great place. I go every year. They do called Madness on Main Street. All the small businesses are out. They have tables out. The firefighters do a pancake breakfast. That's what America is all about. Small communities, local community jobs, local schools where they still teach the students the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence. The kids can actually recite it. They can come to they stand up. I've been in their classrooms. It's astonishing what's going on in small communities and small schools all across America. That's what President Trump was talking about and what he's doing for small business in our communities in rural America. But that's not what we saw with the Democrats. No, last night, how did they respond last night after the President's magnificent speech? Well, they chose the newly elected governor of Virginia to deliver their State of the Union response. She was sworn in just a month ago. But this is the mindset now of this far-left party over there, the Democrats. Because since she was sworn in last month as the governor of Virginia, she has introduced 50 new taxes. 50 new taxes. Democrats in Virginia are trying to raise taxes on barbershops, nail salons, dry cleaners, and gyms. Every one of those, if we were talking about Newcastle, Wyoming, would hurt Newcastle, Wyoming, and the small communities in Wyoming and in your home state of Montana. But that's what Virginia wants to do. That's what the liberals that run the House, the Senate, and their new governor, who the Democrats chose as the face of the Democrat Party, somebody who's been in office for 1 month and has introduced 50 new taxes, barbershops, nail salons, dry cleaners, and gyms. Tax them all. You'll love this, Mr. President. She wants to raise sales taxes on firearms and ammunition by 11%. That's not something that works in Wyoming or Montana. She wants to give in-state tuition benefits for illegal immigrants. That's not something the American people agree on. She wants to ban gas-powered leaf blowers. She's still living in that age of focusing on the carbon footprint instead of what we need in America today, which is all the energy and affordable energy. That's who the Democrats chose to give the response, a person who wants to put sales taxes on everyday services all across the state. You know, I said it before, I'm saying it again, Democrats are committed and determined to raise your taxes. And Virginia, and what we heard from her last night, what they're doing in Virginia is just a roadmap to the radical policies that the Democrats want all over this country. Remember, it was the Democrats under Joe Biden who brought us the worst inflation in 40 years. Democrats who voted last year to raise taxes by $4 trillion. Democrats stood for higher taxes last night, but not for tax cuts, not for working Americans, not for American heroes, not for the priorities of the safety of the American people. Nope. Democrat agenda continues to be higher taxes, higher prices that the American people cannot afford. Mr. President, affordability isn't improved by taxing and by spending more government money. It's improved by allowing the American people to keep more of what they earn so they can make the decisions for themselves of what to spend, what to save, what to invest. Americans are better off today because Republicans cut taxes, because we protect farmers and ranchers, because we support small businesses. And after just 1 year, inflation is falling, wages are rising, and more Americans are working. This is the great American economic comeback. This is what we heard from the President last night. This is what we are proud of as a record of providing safety and prosperity for the American people. And there is more work to be done, as the President said. Our nation is returning to a position of safety, security, and prosperity. And for small businesses in Wyoming and all across America, the future is bright. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the floor.
Mr. President,